A look across Ohio today reveals a landscape that feels calm, broad, and quietly generous. Rivers move slowly through wide valleys. Fields stretch outward in long, level sweeps. Banks rise gently instead of sharply. Those familiar with this region notice how the land seems willing to grow things, almost without effort. That impression is not accidental. It comes from ancient processes that worked patiently for ages. These processes layered the ground with material that holds water, nutrients, and memory. The rivers here did not just pass through this land, they shaped it, they fed it. They left behind soils that still stand among the most fertile anywhere on the continent. Geography is permanent. These rivers carved these valleys long before people arrived. Paths were set by flowing water, not by planning boards. Industries shift and markets change, but the geological foundation remains. This landscape holds a unique power preserved nowhere else on the globe. The Ohio River and its tributaries act like steady hands rather than violent tools. Over long spans of time, they carried fine sediments from far upstream. They laid them down again and again. Floods spilled over banks. They spread thin sheets of silt, clay, sand, and fine gravel across floodplains. Meltwater from retreating ice sheets mile thick added even more material. This material was rich in ground limestone and finely ground rock. Each flood did not destroy what came before. Instead, it added another layer. The result was depth. Soil built downward as much as outward. This created profiles that hold moisture during dry spells. They drain excess water when rains return. This basin holds an irreplaceable gift. It was formed during ice ages and sustained through biological cycles. It is unmatched anywhere else. While the surface looks peaceful, the history of this land is powerful and dramatic. These ancient mountains to the east stand as weathered monuments across the landscape. Their rounded peaks hold 480 million years of geological memory. These peaks stood 480 million years, since before dinosaurs, since before trees, when continents joined together. The ridges preserve evidence nowhere else maintained. They hold layers of stone recording vanished oceans and colliding continents. While younger western ranges like the Rockies boast sharp summits, these enduring giants display the quiet power of true survival. The Rockies are only 80 million years old. These mountains are 6 times older. They have outlasted empires. They have outlasted species. They hold wisdom the younger ranges have yet to learn. The landscape holds itself with the dignity earned through deep time. Each valley was carved by forces working across ages beyond human understanding. Discovery of this history came from looking at the rock itself. Geologists find secrets in the layers. One major find happened in 1989. A team from Virginia Tech studied a deep river gorge. This site was a 1,500-foot cut through hard rock. That is as tall as 3 city skyscrapers stacked on top of each other. Dr. Mills led the group. They collected rock samples for 4 summers. They worked through heat and rain. Back at the lab, they used radioactive dating. They found something remarkable. The rocks at the top were 2 million years old. But the rocks at the bottom were 320 million years old. This proved the river was older than the mountains. The water stayed in its path while the land rose up around it. The river cut through solid rock over millions of years. Water wore down the hardest stone. This shows that the paths people use today were decided by water and rock long ago. Settlement patterns followed features set 300 million years ago. Cities sit where they do because of how the land rose and fell. Trade routes follow the gaps in the mountains. These gaps were not made by men. They were made by ancient rivers finding the softest path through hard rock. The layout of the region was determined by geological forces before the first person arrived. This is a form of ancient knowledge written into the earth. People did not choose where the coal seams would be. Ancient forces decided where resources exist. Coal formed here because of geological conditions nowhere else replicated. It started in tropical rainforests 300 million years ago. These forests were buried and pressed by the weight of mountains. The earth guarded these precious seams in its depths for eons. They were preserved for a specific time and place. The soil itself carries a silent authority. In the watershed of the Ohio River, the ground acts as a geological archive. Most places have thin soil. You hit rock after a few inches, but here, the soil goes deep. In some valleys, the rich earth is 50 feet thick. That is as deep as a 5-story building. This depth means the land can handle stress. It can handle a drought because the roots can reach down. It can handle a flood because the soil acts like a giant sponge. This capacity was built through 480 million years of renewal. This is not an accident of modern farming. It is a consequence of history layered with ongoing growth. Floods, microbes, roots, and minerals continue a process that began thousands of years ago. The soil holds and remembers. It guards capacity that shallow ground elsewhere never possessed. This reveals a form of quiet superiority grounded in geology. Western lands may stretch wider or rise higher, but they lack this depth of stored potential. Younger or thinner soils cannot match the endurance built into this system. The landscape speaks through harvests that do not fail easily. The ground continues to give because it was built to last. Morning mist pools in valleys between dark ridges. Stone rises layered and textured. Each band is a chapter in deep time. Ridges march across the land in parallel waves like frozen water. These ridges stand as monuments to geological time itself. They are ancient, patient, and immovable. Geologists at Penn State confirmed this through core samples. They drilled deep into the bedrock. They found that the hard rock beneath the soil matches rock found in Scotland. This was published in the Journal of Geology. It proved that these mountains were once part of a massive range that spanned across the ocean. When the continents crashed together, the ground buckled. Mountains rose from the collision. They were once taller than the Himalayas. Now they are rounded and low. They have been worn down by weather over ages. This wearing down created the rich soil in the valleys. The destruction of the high peaks became the creation of the fertile fields. This is the law of the landscape. Nothing is wasted. The height of the past became the depth of the present. The way water moves through the land also shows its character. The drainage basin covers nearly a third of the eastern states. Every raindrop from Pittsburgh to North Carolina eventually finds its way to the same path. This system absorbs disturbance without collapse. Reserves remain below and cycles remain active above. This is an enduring testament to how permanent geology shapes long-term life. Its soils preserve ancient processes that still function today. They deliver productivity not through extraction alone, but through renewal embedded in their structure. This is the quiet power of true endurance. While younger mountains boast sharp peaks, these weathered giants display the strength of staying power. Mountains don't last forever. Wind and rain wear them down. But the hard rock remains at the core. This hard rock determines where the roads go. It determines where the towns are built. It determines the shape of the horizon. When someone looks at a gap in the ridge, they are looking at a path made by water eons ago. The gap allowed people to move west. It allowed goods to move east. The economy of the entire nation was shaped by these holes in the stone. Geography created the opportunities. This is geological determinism. The terrain decided the future long before the present arrived. The resilience of the land is visible in the forests too. Trees here grow tall and thick because they have a solid foundation. The roots go deep into the layers of history. This landscape has survived ice sheets and rising seas. It has survived heat and cold. It remains steadfast. The ridges roll across the horizon like waves that never break. Peaks rise weathered but unbroken against the sky. Valleys carve deep shadows between ancient walls of stone. This is a remarkable landscape. It is extraordinary because it has seen so much and remains so calm. The dignity of the land is unmatched. It does not need to shout to be important. Its importance is in its bones. Proof of this significance came from matching rock layers across the ocean. 3 different labs tested the samples. They all found perfect matches. The minerals were the same. The age was the same. The type of stone was the same. This confirmed that this region was the heart of a massive ancient continent. It was the center of the world stage 300 million years ago. This heritage is still here. It is under the grass. It is under the pavement. It is in the water that flows through the taps. This is a place of ancient wisdom preserved nowhere else. The landscape holds itself with the pride of a survivor. It has seen continents move and oceans disappear. It remains. The weathered faces of the cliffs are marked by centuries of storms. They show the bands of stone that tell stories millions of years old. These formations dwarf the towns nestled in their shadow. Ridge after ridge extends as far as the eye can see. This scale is humbling. It shows that human efforts are small compared to the forces of the earth. But it also shows that the foundation is strong. The ground is not going anywhere. The rivers will keep flowing. The soil will keep growing. This is the promise of permanent geography. Industries may come and go. People may move from one place to another. But the geological patterns remain constant. These patterns control how water flows and where development can happen. The ridges and valleys are not random. They are the direct result of ancient processes. These processes have been fully documented by science. When a river cuts through a mountain, it is following a law set down long ago. When the soil yields a harvest, it is using energy stored over eons. This is a landscape of quiet power. It is a place where the past is always present. Geography is permanent on human timescales. These geological forces were active hundreds of millions of years ago and remain active today. Industries change and populations shift, but the underlying landscape stays constant. Geographic patterns we see today were determined by ancient forces beyond human control. Core samples and radioactive dating prove this formation occurred through continental collision, creating a boundary that still controls how water flows and where development occurs today. Next time a ridge or a deep river valley is visible, that ancient geological force is on display. Same processes that shaped the land millions of years ago are still working today, just too slowly to notice in a human lifetime. Understanding these permanent geological forces helps explain why certain patterns exist in the landscape. Geographic features are not random. They are a direct result of ancient processes that science has now fully documented.